Today on Beacon Light, we're doing a different kind of an episode. So this is the first of Beacon Light Flashbacks, in which I take a piece of old art that I hate, and I hate looking at, and I don't like at all, and then I'm nice about it. I am determinedly nice about it. Most of the art that I'm focusing on in this series is from the last year or two, and there's a reason for that. One, I still remember the process. Two, I have files that open in Clip Studio Paint. Three, I still like it. Art is a never-ending train of your eye improves, so the way you look at things, the way you can see how to draw something improves, and then you're dissatisfied with the work your hands are putting out, and then your hands improve, and you're satisfied, and then your eye improves, and so on. You're never static. You're never going to be fully satisfied with the way you're drawing. And that's just how it is. But for this series, we're doing a bit of a deep dive into the past. So here we've got a file titled Ezaki Smiling Badly. It is from January 2016, so it's nearly 5 years old. This depicts Ezaki, who is a character that I played 2 weekends a year for about 4 years, and the image was drawn just before the second time. And they weren't even a druid then. This is really old art. The character had so much development afterwards. And you'll notice that this is a PNG, because this file up here, this file was drawn not in Clip Studio, not in Krita, not in Photoshop. This was drawn in Twisted Brush, and I haven't seen anything about Twisted Brush anywhere lately. I don't know if it still exists, but certainly the version I had did not actually enable you to save the layered file. You just saved TIFFs, and it didn't preserve the layers for some reason. I've never been able to extract the layers. So all we've got is this single, static, one-layer picture. It looks like what I've got here is I've got a line art layer, I've got a solid colors layer, and then a painting layer. I don't know whether the painting is on the solid color layer, but I suspect that that's actually on a multiply layer, because I can tell I've used multiply in this, and then over the background. It kind of does break my heart a little bit that I titled it that it was bad, because it's a testimony to the fact that smiles are hard to draw. I've always struggled with smiles. I do think I've cracked them lately, as you can see, but in 5 years, who knows what I'll think? Will I be cringing looking at those smiles? Maybe, who knows? But at the end of the day, I find this picture very hard to look at. What's the issue? Well, to me now, I think, well, the face is sitting wrong on the neck, and the way the lines of the neck are drawn are not great. The hair is... we'll leave it at that. And the eyes and the mouth aren't working together for the expression at all. We've got muddy colours, it's very static, and the line quality is also quite poor. Now, admittedly, that isn't my fault. I was working with a tablet that at the time was about a decade old, and a art program that also, didn't have very good line quality. I noticed the increase of line quality when I switched to Photoshop, and then again when I switched to Clip Studio. But, so... That's the problems that I see with this image. Let's actually move on to me being nice about it, because that is the point here. So first up, well done to my past self on drawing them smiling, on trying to draw them smiling. I knew that I was not very skilled at drawing people smiling, but I tried anyway. And that deserves to be celebrated, because only by practicing do we learn. And yes, I've slightly messed up. I've got aspects where the design, so like the line of the eyebrows, is conflicting with the rest of the expression. But I've really tried. And I've clearly got some idea. Like, I know that we need to have the lines around their eyes. We need to make the face do that. I know about the laugh lines. It's obviously a lopsided smile. I will say this side of the smile is always the hard side when you're drawing at this angle. I still struggle with that. And I don't, but sadly, I don't actually have any more pictures of this character smiling to compare this with, because the Spring 2016 game, which is what I was leading into when I did this, that was the game in which the hardcore trauma started to set in. So a lot of normal emoting went kind of down the drain for them. So we'll also just celebrate and Ezuki was well enough to smile. But I'm also going to be really gentle about the hair, because this hairstyle, this is really hard. This is a helmet cut. It's done because somebody said to me Roman and Byzantine inspirations for where this character is from. So I gave them a helmet cut. I have regretted this many times since. I still struggle to do this. This is probably the most recent picture with the helmet cut, but I've clearly still had trouble with it. They're perfectly recognizable. This is a character who is obviously the same character as is depicted in all of the other pictures that I've shown of them. We've got the distinctive curved nose. We've got... that's not the right curve. There we go. We've got the cheekbones. We've got the age lines. And it's all very, very recognizable. I didn't know it at this time, but they would have been about 81, 82 here. And it's also me practicing painting. Now, it is a bit muddy. I don't have my contrasts very worked out. If we tested this with a gradient map layer to show the values, it's pretty flat. Actually, it's probably better to do it this way. It's pretty flat. It's not got much in the way of contrast. But that's me learning. That's how I learn. I've just figured out multiply layers. That's why it looks like this. So I will have had quite a light color there, and oops. I will have had quite a light color there and then darker colors there. I hadn't figured out the other blending modes at this point, but that's okay. It's a starting point. And then actually I've got this quite nice setting, this quite nice backdrop. It is static, but it is meant to be. I was capable of more dynamic artwork, as we can see here. There's some dynamism here. But this is meant to sit inside the frame. So I'll just kind of give a bit of a cheer to past Kess here. I was actively building my skill. I was pushing myself. I was showing my development. And if I had never moved on from this stage, if all of my art since had been basically the same, there would still have been value in that. My acts of creation would still have been worthy. I would have improved some. Whatever I did, this would have looked like things that I continued to do like this would have still looked better. It would all have been worthwhile. And I kind of want to invite you to join in with me on this. So all 5 of you, but just comment here or on social media or wherever with an old piece you find really hard to look at and tell me something that's good about it. So what did you do well? What did you learn? Why is the world made better by this art piece's existence? And you can either at me at Manual Monster, or you can use the tag Flashback Fate to share what you've got. And don't call it bad. I'm probably going to change this file name, at least in my assets folder, because it's not bad. It's just old and new and learning. Your work's not bad. Your work is great, and so is mine. See you next time.